Israeli forces are continuing to pound Gaza. The health ministry there says it recorded 139 deaths on Sunday, among them a group of children who were killed while waiting to fill water containers in central Gaza. Last week, it was an aid distribution point where mothers and children were waiting for baby food. I must warn you, the pictures of Sunday's attack, which the BBC has verified, are extremely graphic. There are scores of people rushing to help the injured. In some parts of this video, children lying dead on the ground. The Israelis said they were not the intended target. The IDF blamed a technical error, which meant the missile had landed dozens of metres from the man they had identified, a militant from Islamic Jihad. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says the weekend attacks took the death toll in 21 months of war to more than 58,000 people, the vast majority of them civilians. Benjamin Netanyahu, though, is unrepentant. In a video message released last night, he firmly rejected the growing calls for an end to the war, backed by recent polls published in Israel. He dismissed the polls, saying they were manipulated and that they were misleading the Israeli public. The former Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, has warned that the so-called humanitarian city in Gaza that has been suggested by some in the current Israeli government would be seen as a concentration camp. The BBC's Sarah Montague spoke to the former Prime Minister and asked him why, given the history of that particular phrase, he still chose to use those words.
This is how the international community will understand these camps to be. They don't need me to interpret them what it is. When they are doing it, and those who are in charge of doing it are the ones that say that we should actually get rid of all the Palestinians living in Gaza and that all of them are Hamas and therefore they have no right to exist. And they were calling for the wiping out of all of the people living in Hamas because they said they are all Hamas and therefore they don't deserve to live. And now they are deporting them into restricted areas.
Let's bring in Yossi Beilin. He's the former Israeli Justice Minister and initiator of the Oslo peace process and the informal Geneva peace accord. Thank you so much for being with us. Maybe I could just get you to comment on that statement there from Ehud Olmert. That's a fairly provocative statement in Israel, given the history of that statement. How widely do you think that view is shared?
I don't think that it is shared. I don't think that he had to use this term, even if he attributes it to the attitude of the world, to what may happen. I think that what today Yair Lapid, the head of the opposition, said in the Knesset is much more accurate. He said it is a crazy idea, and it is a crazy idea. And I can add that it will not happen.
Why will it not happen?
Because it is crazy. It is very, very costly. It is billions and billions of dollars. And it will take time, about a year or a year and a half to build it. Who has this time? So I think that somebody suggested to Netanyahu this idea, God knows who. And the military is coming to him and says, hey, Mr. Prime Minister, this is not something that we can do or should do. And in many cases, when the military is saying we cannot do that, it doesn't happen.
You appear to be suggesting that there is dissent within the military about the orders they're now being given?
No, it is not dissent. They say if you order, we will do that. We will try to do that, but we are telling you it is not realistic.
Who ultimately bears responsibility within Israeli government for an attack that kills children at a feeding station or a water distribution point? And when they say these attacks are under review, what does that actually mean?
You know, we should not be there. We should not be there in a situation whereby we are accused for killing babies intentionally, which is of course not true, but the fact that they are killed is a tragedy. It is crazy. You see the pictures, you want to cry, or you cry, and you say, why should be responsible for that? We have to leave this area. We won the war. Hamas is not the same war. And the issue which remains open is the issue of the Israeli hostages. They should be released. There is no reason in the world to keep and babies and old people and babies and others as hostages. So the question is now only that, in my view. How can we free the hostages and end our stay in this awful place? It should be given to the PLO, to the Palestinian Authority, from which it was taken in 2007, June 2007. They are ready to get there, and they should manage the area rather than Hamas. This is, I believe, the right Israeli interest.
But as you suggest, when it comes to the ceasefire, there are some very difficult issues to overcome. The Israeli mediators have agreed the 60-day truce, but they want the option to restart the war if Hamas fails to deliver the hostages. Are those problems surmountable, do you think? Is it surmountable to keep Israelis somewhere in the vicinity of Gaza pending the release of the hostages?
I don't understand why do we need 60 days. We have to leave in few days this area, and we can do that. Now, the question is about the future of the Hamas commanders, those who survived the Israeli attacks. And I believe that the only way is to assure them immunity, that Israel will not hurt them, so that they can leave to Qatar, to Iran, or wherever they are able to be hosted in. And that will end the story. If it doesn't, and if they insist on staying in Gaza, then that should not prevent us for handing over the place to the PLO. Yes, and then we will have to see the ways and means, how can we release the 20 hostages who are still alive and the others who regretfully are not alive.
Beilin, very grateful for your time this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed.